Welcome back to the Hemo Life podcast. We have someone here, someone new. Name's Tracy. Tell us about Free Bleeders. What's that about?
Hi, guys. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
My name is Tracy Hamler. I am the founder of Free Bleeders, Inc., which is an organization designed to empower and inspire women to be the absolute best version of themselves. At my retreats, because I host retreats, I bring in motivational speakers, life coaches, and business professionals from all walks of life to cater to my ladies and take them to their next level. We do a lot of advocacy and support. I help women cultivate relationships with one another to build accountability, sisterhood, and support. We help women get diagnosed who have been, just having problems with getting diagnosed in life. We help women learn who they are at their core and just pour into themselves. So
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
So tell us, I'm curious about your backstory. Does hemophilia and bleeding disorders run in your family?
Yes. So at 30 years old, I was diagnosed with hemophilia. At 22 years old, I gave birth to my son via emergency C-section where he was diagnosed at birth. I had just learned about hemophilia. My dad told me he had it and I should get my son tested. But that was my first knowledge of bleeding disorders. At 30, when I was diagnosed, I was completely blown away because at 22, I was told I can only be a symptomatic carrier at best.
Yeah.
And although I had an emergency C-section, I bled out and they gave me blood transfusions. So when I was diagnosed, I was looking for resources for women with bleeding and blood disorders, and there weren't any because they said women couldn't have a bleeding disorder. So I decided to create my own lane. I decided to stop dismissing myself. And ultimately, I decided to turn my pain into my power because, at this time, I also had a military career.
Wow.
I didn't know what my next level would be. It was a lot of confusion, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. And I just found a way to make it happen.
I think that's amazing. We're all, we share so many stories on this podcast. And I mean, it can be whether you're struggling in school or you're struggling in business, but it really connects everybody. And I see, you were a busy mom at the time, and you're still, pushing through to help people. I think it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
It really is. It really is. And we're here in Las Vegas. We're here doing the Hemophilia B conference. We've had a lot of interest in, really, I feel like, we have these shirts. Get one of the shirts out. And it's the podcast. We're essentially doing this collab between Unheard and HemoLife. And the reason I bring this up is because there is hemophiliacs and there's families that are affected with hemophilia that are really wanting to give back. And I think really being on this podcast, we have people that reach out all the time. You can get connected to foundations and people like yourself, Free Bleeders, and anybody. What I'm trying to get at is anybody that's thinking about giving back, or maybe already has a nonprofit, please reach out, come on the podcast, and just talk about your story. I mean, this is a great platform to share your story.
Our community does build some really amazing leaders. I've been seeing it for the past 10 plus years. I just now started kind of seeing your content on social media, which I thought was really cool. And we ran into each other here and I recognized you right away. So it's really cool to see people in person. How long has your not-for-profit been going right now?
I started in 2019, but I also had a baby in 2019 and then COVID happened. So I couldn't push my initiative as hard as I wanted to go during that time. So last year was my first official year off the retreat. And from that moment, we have had monthly events where I'm keeping women in my community connected and accountable. We do virtual events as well. So women from literally
right now.
Yeah, women from literally all over the world are coming to my events or being connected with my organization some way, somehow. And we offer so many types of resources, whether it's educational resources, whether it's copay assistance, premium assistance, emergency assistance. We are literally doing it all to support these women in this community. And I'm listening to what they want and what they need. Currently, right now, one of the needs that's been talked about is a mentorship program for their young boys between the ages of 12 and 18. So we're implementing.
So you're doing more than just women then, wanting to help women.
So ultimately, it is still helping the mom because the mom wants to help their son, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So my goal for the women is to help women pour back into themselves and not dismiss themselves and not be unheard, right?
There we go. I love that connection.
Not be unheard. But in order for them to do that and really feel who they are at their core, they also have to feel like their families are being taken care of. Right?
Yeah.
So we help them be well rounded all together.
My mom, I remember growing up, I mean, my brother has hemophilia, I have hemophilia, and she was stressed about even just getting us to school. I mean, and so I'm sure your women that you mentor, they have struggles like that. I mean, hey, he's out of school, he needs a special program at school. On crutches one day, he's getting bullied. Yep. Like, I feel like that's a huge benefit for what you offer.
Right. And the thing about that is although I'm asking them what they need, at the same time, I'm still a mom and I still went through that same struggle. Yeah. So I can relate. Right. So at 10 years old, my son had a hip bleed. He put it out for days. Like he tried to hide the fact that he was in pain. So when I finally realized that he was hurt beyond what I initially thought, we went to the hospital. He had to get a port in his arm and be on crutches, like you said. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I had to take off of work and wheel him to school. So he didn't like that. He didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that feeling for him. We went through all the things of, well, Mom, I want to play basketball. Well, you can't right now because we're still trying to figure out what's going on with you. He was like, but, I think it was like a race thing. Like, he's Black like me, or what I'm saying, something like that. Like he didn't even understand. Like he was thinking it had something to do with his color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Play, which was insane. And I think as a mom, I also overcompensated because I didn't even know how to deal and process, him having a bleeding disorder, let alone learning I had a bleeding disorder.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this. So I find that, especially with new hemophiliac moms, granted, you can take them to the ER, you can call the hemophilia treatment center, and they can provide the medical treatment. Yep. But I do feel like there's a big piece of it that's that, hey, I just want someone to listen to me. And, it takes their anxiety level down and they're concerned. Do you feel like when you're connecting with these women, you're like, wow, like, thank you so much for just talking to me? I feel like so many women that they just want to be heard. They really want to be heard. Do you feel like you're providing that to where it's like, wow, like, I know you can go to the hemophilia treatment center, I know you can do this, but just pick up the phone and I want to talk,
Yeah, I mean, they are being heard, but I think it's so much deeper than being heard. Like when women come to my events, when women even listen to me on, social media, they are connected in more ways than they even realize. Sometimes you don't even know how deep your need is because you have been suppressing you and your feelings for so long that you have forgotten who you are.
And they feel like they're a part of a community, I guess. They don't feel like they're like on an island.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so great because half the battle is you're unsure, you don't know what to do. And then you have this community that's like, hey, this is what I did for my son's mouth bleed, or this is what I did. This is what I did. And you're creating this community where, yes, to provide medical care and whatnot, you need a physician guidance. I get that. But having this community, I think it's a wealth of knowledge, really, that this is my past experience. This is what I did. What did you do this? I mean, I feel like there's so much value in what you're providing.
And the thing that I think moms don't realize is that our kids are watching it. They see our pain, they see our struggles, they know our daily routines. I know for me and my daughter, I have a 6-year-old daughter as well, and she is a carrier. Her body produces about 52% of the factor 9 clotting factor. And she sees a hematologist annually, and we're still trying to figure out, what's going on with her, which I absolutely hate that they go by numbers because she gets scars that don't heal and she bruises easily and, all the things, right? But nonetheless, we have a routine. And our routine is every night, we brush our teeth, we take our bath, we say our prayers, right? And one day I was kind of like just feeling the funk, but I made sure she did her routine. I only took my bath and I was just ready to just hop in the bed. I was like over that day and she was like, wait, Mom, you didn't brush your teeth.
Yeah.
So she was like, you gotta get up and brush your teeth.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure she was taken care of, but I wasn't willing to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And we do that all the time.
Yeah.
Right? As moms. Another thing too is I had a conversation with her. I was like, what if you were the mom and I was the daughter? And she said, I would take care of you. I said, what does that look like? She said, especially when you're sick. So we as moms have to really realize that as much as we pour into our kids, we have to pour into ourselves. And that's what we're missing. because they want to see us healthy, they want to see us happy,
Yeah.
and they want to see us whole. And we think that we're doing things to help them, but we're hurting ourselves when we don't.
Yeah.
When we don't
You got,
ourselves.
yeah, you got to fill up your cup.
Yeah.
I think, I have 4 kids, 3 girls and a boy that's 6 months old. And my middle child, Kylie, she's a hemophiliac, symptomatic carrier. And needless to say, she'll fall and get a big bleed. And then the other kids don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes, like you said, you get worn out. You have 4 kids and then you just need to fill up your cup at times,
I think like growing up, like I felt unheard and like a lot of people couldn't relate to me was because as a severe hemophiliac, I feel like my maintenance to fill my cup up takes a lot more. And so a lot of times that comes across to other people as selfish at times. And I had to get to a point where I was like, I don't care what people think about me. Like if they think I'm being selfish or whatever, like I need to do me.
Sure.
And I, to perform at a higher level.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's something I battled, but now I'm like comfortable being like, no, I'm going to continue to do these behaviors every day so that I can take care of the people that I love. And that's,
it's kind of like running a race. I was telling my wife this today. It's like running a race. We're running around with the kids and you run 5 miles without a drink of water. And then you're like, well, hey, you got to run another 5 miles. So you run the other 5 miles and you're like, now I'm at 10 miles and like, I can't run another mile. I need that drink of water.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that's what you provide where you're like, hey, mom, I'm going to give you props for taking care of that bleed or taking care of that school issue. But hey, you need to help yourself because how are you going to be able to, go throughout your day if there's nothing left in the tank?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you might get an event like this. Like I know that I have like a time limit with my ankles today.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like I have like an energy bar and it's constantly going down. And maybe it's not energy, but maybe it's like my ankle health, and it's going down. And it's like, like, so I have to conserve everything and manage myself, my mental, my body, everything.
Yeah.
And just be persistent that, on whatever you're doing, just being persistent, but also filling up your cup. I have a quick question for you. Is there any time, and me and LA, we were talking about this earlier this week, that you've been in the pressure cooker and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out. I don't know what I'm going to do. But in the end, it's like, wow, reflecting back, it made me better. And at the time, you just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Is there any time in your life that you're like, you felt like that?
Yeah, I literally just felt like that a couple of days ago here. I had a whole meltdown.
Okay.
Because I have all these things going on, right? Great things, not so great things, to be honest with you, with personal issues. And I just feel like I got all these irons in the fire, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I constantly feel like I'm working in and on my business. Yeah. I need all this extra help. I'm only one person.
Sure.
I'm also in school. I'm a mom. I just have all the irons in the fire. And I was talking to a friend, and this friend said, it's okay. It's okay to have all these irons in the fire because guess what? When you're done, you're going to forge one hell of a sword. And I was like, wait a minute. And sometimes we all, as much as I do the motivational speaking, as much as I do all the things, I still need the reminders because I'm still human.
Yeah.
Right? I still need a support system.
Yeah.
And we all struggle.
Sometimes as leaders, you don't get people saying, I just want you to know I see you.
Yes.
And I'm proud of you.
Yeah. They think you're strong. They got it all figured out and all together.
Sometimes we need that. I had that happen to me recently. Dr. Joe, you were one of the people who did it. And it happened right after you called me. Another friend called me. And it was the craziest thing ever because I don't get positive affirmations ever in my life. I don't really know why, but what Dr. Joe was like, hey, he just called me and said, I just want to see you. That, like, I see you, man. I see what you're doing. I'm proud of you. And like that, those words alone, like, it just like really like lifted me up. And then another friend called me and just said, hey, I don't have anything to say, but I'm proud of you. And I was like, how did this happen to me twice in one day? But I was like, this was so needed. Like I need that, but I guess sometimes people see us and they're like, they're leaders. Like, they got it. It's like, no, we all need somebody.
I tell you what, hemophiliacs in general, I think we're a lot stronger. And I really do think, I said this in a previous podcast, it's a blessing. God's like, you know what? I'm going to make this super hard, but then you're going to be able to help all these other people to make you tough. And I think you're tough. You're tough. Hey, look, I went through 12 years of medical school and I'm here today. And I was just on a call with a hematologist. He's like, you're a doctor? I was like, yeah. He's like, you made it? I was like, yeah. I mean, I did. And it's just like, I think what I'm trying to say is just because you have a bleeding disorder, don't let it limit you. Actually, it boosts you up.
Yes.
It boosts you up. And I think that's why I feel like a lot of hemophiliacs were challenged in the beginning, but then it can just
Well, you have to frame your mind when you're going through those challenges. You can either have that victim mentality, or you can say, what can I learn from this?
Yeah, become a victor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so happy that we're able to share these stories, and we have our hearts are really in it for helping hemophiliacs, helping hemophiliac mothers, helping even just inspire. I mean, you have your clothing line, inspiring people that, hey, look, you can do it.
Dude, all of this, everything that we're doing, it came from our own pain.
I love that.
It's like, I wouldn't wish what I went through on my worst enemy.
No.
Like, it's been terrible, but I became more powerful because of it. And I truly want to help everyone, from everything, the clothing brand, the podcast, everything I do it with a pure heart, because hemophilia beat the shit out of me. Let's just get real. Like, it beat me up, and it humbled me, and it humbles me every single day.
Yes.
So that's and I could look at that as a victim, but I don't. I look at that as being humbled, as a blessing that I'm
glad you said that, because I think a lot of individuals choose to stay stuck. They choose to stay stuck in their pain. They say, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But I will tell you, when you are really tired, you're going to get your butt up.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, and I don't mean to be like spiritual or anything, because I know everybody come from different faiths and background. I definitely don't want to put that on anybody. But I remember when I was 17 years old, I went to this youth camp, and it was a religious camp, and we prayed the entire weekend. We prayed so much I got tired of praying. I don't know what do you pray for? Like, you have no life experience, right?
Yeah.
Dear God.
So I literally said to God in that moment that I was tired of praying. I said, God, I have nothing left to pray for. I got mad at this point. I was like, why are these people making me pray like this entire week? But as soon as I said I was tired and I gave it to God, it was like something pushed in my stomach and came out my mouth, and I received the gift of speaking in tongues. That freaked me out. I was 100% afraid, because what does this mean? Like, does this mean I have to be, righteous and walk?
Sure.
Like what does this mean as a 17-year-old girl? But that was, to me, in that moment, looking back now, that was me saying I was really tired, and I felt tired, and I had literally given
it all. You've given it all.
Yeah. So when you say you're tired, when you say that I want change in my life, unless you are really tired, no change is going to happen.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what moms need to realize. That's what people need to realize. You guys too. You know, people say, I want to get in shape. People say, I want a better job. People say, I want a better life.
You have to do so.
These things, but you're not tired. You're comfortable. You're complacent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so, I mean, just to get into this really quick, my brother is 25, going to be 26. He has severe hemophilia, and he also has severe diabetes. And he recently had a low blood sugar, and now he's really worried about his blood sugars. And yet, and now he's real anxious. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to go anywhere. And I told him, I was like, dude, you don't want to go anywhere. You're comfortable. You just graduated college. You got to get out there and break out. And he's even afraid to travel. And so I've been really trying to mentor him and be like, hey, you need to stop worrying. God will take care of you. Trust in the Lord, and he will direct your path. And I just, having that trust and faith in him is a lot for people. But if you give it to God, like you just said,
but I make all your praise that God gives us all the different skill sets.
Sure.
So like some of us, like I believe us three right here, we have that special vision and ability to execute things, to overcome these things. But I think some people, that's why I believe this mentorship stuff that you're doing is so powerful. Because some people do need some direction.
Like a seed.
You could be tired and sick and tired, but not know those next few steps to take. And that's not their fault. Maybe they just didn't have the proper mentorship. So
I think planting that seed.
Us leaders do. I mean, that's why we're here, so we can step up and help people take those next few steps.
That's right.
When I created the workbook that I launched last year, that was my best effort at sitting down and evaluating, okay, what were those thought processes that I was going through, and what steps did I take? I believe that it's very little steps that you take every single day that build momentum, that help you escape that darkness. I know a lot of times I thought that you sit there and sometimes you're bedridden for days and you're just like, what do I do? Like, I need something massive. I need to win the lottery or something. I need something crazy to change the situation. But it's really small things. But my question for you is like, what were those steps that you had to take? Like, how did you learn those steps to like get to this position where you are now, where you're empowered, you know what to do. I'm sure you have a daily routine. Take me through some of that stuff.
Crazy story. I told you guys I was in the military. And while I was in the military, my husband actually was in the military as well. He got hurt. During his whole little injury, he was fighting with the military about benefits. You know, at this time, we had real people bills. Like my son was in private school. We had 2 mortgages. Like, it was insane. And we were losing income. So I decided that I wanted to like get a second job.
Sure.
And he was like, no way. Like, how you gonna be in the military and get a second job? It's not happening. So then I was watching Atlanta Housewives, and I don't know if you guys know Candy Birds, but she had this company called Bedroom Candy, and they sold like bath and body products, adult products,
Okay.
you know, all that. So like a Tupperware party. So I went out and I started selling these products by, you know, going to people's homes, displaying the products, and just having like girl time, right? But then in the ordering room, we would talk about so much more than just the products.
Okay.
It became our everyday struggles as women. It became, you know, just it was intimate conversation.
Sure.
And I realized that we as women had more in common than not. And if we started having these intimate conversations, it might break down some of those barriers that women kind of have with each other with, oh, I don't do women stuff. Women are catty, women are this, right?
Okay.
So I was like, man, I think I want to do a women's retreat. And that's literally where it came from a need, because I felt like in the ordering room, these women were hearing me and I was hearing them. And I was like, this could like really be a thing. So initially the goal was to just be heard, be heard, develop a sisterhood, but it became so much more than that. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how it really
I love that.
came about. So I started an organization called Fearless Women Retreat. I still have that organization. That's my for-profit. And then, you know, Free Bleeders developed out of that, because I was like, okay, what if I did this for women with bleeding and blood distress? Because we all are women, we're all connected, but I would just add the educational components with the advocacy component to it. And that's how it.
Wow.
In your mind right now, what do you consider success for your not-for-profit? What if you in 5 years, 10 years, you sit back and be like,
that's what I wanted to do.
That was it. Like that was successful. Like, we did it.
Honestly, I would say I'm already successful.
Okay.
Like literally, this is something I would do whether I got paid or not, because I feel like this is literally my gift from God. I don't know. Like people always ask me, how do you go about planning your retreats? How do you go about planning these events? I'm super intentional, but it comes from God.
Yeah.
I don't even know like how my mind processes this stuff, but it's there and it happens. It's all in my mind. I really probably need to write it down and put it to paper and figure out the logistics. My background is in logistics from the military. So logistics and supply. So I think just organization and planning, that it's just naturally a part of me. But I would say I'm already successful right now, because I already see changes in women. I already see women getting diagnosed. I already see the weight loss.
That's kind of like where I was like leading with the question was, is there like a gap in like women's healthcare that you're like, I need to close that gap?
Well, you talked about weight loss.
Yeah.
Because I don't really understand it. I don't know the women's struggles. I really don't.
Because for me, I think it starts with the core though. I think once women start having babies and, you know, developing careers and getting married,
they put themselves sometimes on the back burner.
Not sometimes, like literally all the time.
Yeah.
And they forget about their own dreams, goals, and aspirations, right? And then the kids are grown, and you have forgotten your relationship with your partner, and you have forgotten how to even live for yourself. So I think just getting back to that little girl you, and remembering what your dreams were, and who you were, and what you really wanted. And just who you are as a person. Like, are you a nurturer? Are you, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you do?
What you're doing is going beyond hemophilia, though.
It is. And it's so beyond, but it's so important too. Because once we break down those levels and you understand who you are at your core, then we can tackle all the other things. We can tackle your health care.
Sure.
We can tackle, you know, your belief system and your
Yeah.
mindset, because it all starts there.
And you're created a platform that
I
originally,
love this. It's like
I
a
know.
system. It's like a
It is.
system to get the best version of yourself
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I really love it.
I love it how she created it out of a need per se,
Yep.
where she was in this order room and she's like, here's this vulnerable, and getting them more actually comfortable with this platform. And then she's able to pick out, okay, we figured out this. Now let's figure out you.
Yep.
Let's figure out what you really want. Let's figure out your health. Let's figure out your marriage.
Yep.
Let's figure out this. And it just, I love that. I love that. No, it just,
Thank
because
you.
nowadays I feel like women are just so like my wife, she has 4 children. I'm
Mhm.
traveling all the time. And, you know, everything gets put off, gets
Mhm.
put off, gets put
Mhm.
off, gets put off. And I feel like you're right. That can, you know, essentially take a woman's dreams and put it
Mhm.
on the back burner.
Yep.
And now you're able to give these women a forum
Yep.
where it's like, no. This is about you, and we're going to change your life.
And we make them uncomfortable to begin with.
Yeah.
And the reason why I make them uncomfortable to begin with, like my retreats aren't your typical style retreat. Like, you know, you're not at some hotel and you got your separate room and, you know, you can go away. It's never that. Or I mean, even here, like they come here and they share their stories, and it's the
Yeah.
same similar kind of stories. And then they're crying and,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's upset and emotional, but it's no solution. I offer
Yeah.
solutions.
Wow.
So when they come to my retreats, they're actually sharing spaces with somebody that they don't even know. And that's super uncomfortable because
Yeah.
women are like closed in and they want their privacy in their own
Yeah.
space. And they want to stay like that because this is a comfortable place.
Yeah.
When you come to me, I make you very uncomfortable.
Yeah. To essentially allow you to grow.
Yeah, and it's almost like a big slumber party,
Yeah.
if you will. The ladies, about time, you know, the
Yeah.
retreat is almost halfway nowhere. Or even that night, sometime I walk past their rooms at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They're up laughing like schoolgirls. You know what I'm saying?
amazing.
Getting to know one another.
It's like you don't really get those opportunities anymore.
No.
I feel like as
Yeah.
an adult, you know. So like to step away and do a retreat like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
rejuvenating.
Right.
So we talked a lot about on the podcast how you can get involved and really, like I said, unpeel the onion, whether you're a woman or you're interested in really growing simply a fitness brand, but talking about how to really help hemophiliacs, is that's what this podcast is about. Now, can you tell our audience, how could they get in touch with you?
Of course. So follow me on all social media platforms at Tracy Hamler. That's TracyHamler. Also follow Free Bleeders. That's FreeBleed.
It's all right.
Free Bleeders Inc. I'm sorry, y'all.
Shoot, it's testing if you're paying attention.
This time zone is really throwing me off.
Now they'll really pay attention.
Yes, yeah. So Free Bleeders
They're
Inc.
finishing it for you. They're like, RS.
Yes, ERS. Y'all got Free Bleeders. So yeah, Free Bleeders Inc. on all platforms as well, or you can go to freebleeders.org for more information. Just sign up for our email listing, and yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we loved having you on the podcast, Tracy, and yeah, let's finish Hemophilia B in Las Vegas.